Wow. After thinking about the RDJ announcement at Comic Con, although I still don't like his casting, I guess he's not like the worst actor ever to play Doctor Doom, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I think there are a bunch of other options. It's just so creatively bankrupt, as they used to say. But hey, it's already happening. And, I guess we're just gonna have to hope that it turns out good. It's either gonna be one of the greatest feats Marvel pulls off, or it's gonna be one of their biggest disasters. So, we're just really gonna have to wait and see how the Avengers movies turn out. But today I wanted to discuss the movie that really got us to this point and how one simple mistake has led into the overall biggest setback the MCU has ever encountered. Of course, that movie is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Now, yes, if you know me, you know Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is my least favorite MCU movie. But I think that, personal bias aside, I think Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania did genuinely damage the MCU brand to a level that I don't think we've seen any other movie in the MCU do to, well, the MCU. So today I'm going to go through the history of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania production cycle, what led to all of these mistakes, and at the end, instead of being a negative Nancy all the fucking time, because I know negativity always gets the clicks, but I am trying to move away from that negativity. I am going to give a way Marvel could have somehow salvaged what has happened. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. And we're going to start back in the fall of 2019. After their big San Diego Comic-Con announcement of Phase 4, yes, 2019, we were all excited for Phase 4. Can you believe that in retrospect? Well, I mean, it's not like some of those projects weren't good, but it's just kind of funny when you look at that and how we were all so naive and blind. Are we going to be the same 2 years later? Let's just see and find out. But anyways, they announced Ant-Man 3, which wasn't really anything major. I mean, the second Ant-Man did pretty good at the box office. It did better than the first one, so it made sense they were going to make an Ant-Man 3. Paul Rudd was going to return, Evangeline Lilly, Peyton Reed, the whole deal. And in September of 2020, they confirmed that Kang the Conqueror would be the villain of the movie and would be played by Jonathan Majors, which was also kind of a crazy big reveal. And then they also kind of confirmed that at Disney Investor Day, with the movie now being officially titled Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, with the inclusion of Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer, and now newcomer Catherine Newton replacing the old Cassie, which, by the way, the old Cassie actress didn't even know Marvel was going to recast her. She just assumed she was going to come back because she already did Avengers Endgame. So she was like, okay, well, they're probably going to bring me back to play Cassie, but no, they replaced her with Catherine Newton, and she didn't even find out until we all found out during the Disney Investor Day, which is kind of fucked up, but I mean, these are big corporations. They always do fucked up shit, so whatever. Anyways, Jonathan Majors would then make his first appearance in the MCU in June of 2021, where he would play the what was his name? It's been so long. Whatever. He played some type of Kang variant. Oh, He Who Remains. He played He Who Remains in the season finale of Loki, which got a lot of people hyped because we knew Kang was coming in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and it seemed like the future of the Multiverse Saga was going to be about Kang. But we didn't know it was called the Multiverse Saga at the time. We just knew that, maybe Kang is going to be a bigger character than we suspected. Then, obviously, in 2021, no other project really tied into the multiverse besides Spider-Man No Way Home. I guess What If, but I don't really count What If. Like, that's kind of a side project. I'm just talking about mainline MCU stuff, which brings us to the beautiful year of 2022. Now, if you're an MCU fan, you know how bad 2022 was. It was probably one of the company's weakest points as a studio because of just the amount of releases that were all misses. I mean, I liked Moon Knight, but not a lot of people did. I know some people like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but not a lot of people did. Thor: Love and Thunder was almost universally hated. Same with She-Hulk. Miss Marvel was hated from the jump, despite it actually not being that bad. I mean, it's not a good show. It was just okay, in my opinion. So, I mean, yeah. And then the only real movie that was kind of a slam dunk was Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So, yeah, 2022 was not a great year for Marvel. But one of the spotlights was their Comic Op panel in 2022. Hold on, I'm starting to really start, up addered here. But anyways, Marvel had announced Phase 4 was over, and that we were in Phase 5, and that we were officially in the Multiverse Saga, and they confirmed that one of the big movies that were going to be the catalyst of the Multiverse Saga was going to be Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which is very interesting to say the least. But us fans didn't know better, except me. I didn't really like the Ant-Man movies, and I thought it was kind of stupid to set up such a big major character like Kang in a fucking Ant-Man movie, where the Ant-Man movies are usually known to be the small break movies. But whatever, they were going to level up Ant-Man to be this big multiverse changing movie, and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was going to hit theaters February 17th, 2023. Kang the Conqueror, yeah, MODOK was also confirmed to be in it, and whatever. Let's just skip to it. February 17th, 2023 arrived, and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania horribly kicked off Phase 5. I remember it like it was yesterday. The movie hit, and we all just didn't like Kang. I mean, just from the presentation of his character, at least to me, I know I didn't say I was going to leave personal bias aside, but he just felt like all talk and no barring. He would just be like this villain that said, "Ooh, I will destroy all the multiverses and stuff." But when it was time to finally see Kang in action, it was kind of lackluster. It also didn't help that one of the Avengers that isn't taken that seriously, Ant-Man, beat him, so that was not a good look for Kang. But they did tease the Council of Kang at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania in a post-credit scene, obviously barreling towards that. Now, I forgot to mention that at Comic-Con, they announced Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, but there's a reason I left it out. That's because Avengers: The Kang Dynasty is obviously not happening, but it was clear that was their goal. They were building Kang up to an Avengers movie. They were going to have the Shang-Chi director direct it, and they were going to have the same writer of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. But after Quantumania's release, the dude basically got, fired pretty much. I mean, I know that happened way later, but you kind of get the gist. Daniel Dustin Cretton was no longer directing it. Avengers: The Kang Dynasty was simply retitled to Avengers 5. Not only that, Jonathan Majors would have a lot of legal issues with his girlfriend. Now, I know that was kind of a controversial thing back then, and there's a lot of debate about that, so I'm not going to get that deep into it, but Jonathan Majors' legal troubles also added onto the problems that Marvel was having with the character of Kang. And then an actors and writers strike hit. So now that gave Marvel the option to really think about what they were doing with the cinematic universe. I mean, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania's bomb already made Marvel want to already pivot to a different character, a character that is Doctor Doom, which is eventually something that they did do, and that led us to the RDJ decision. But let's talk about Kang's final appearance in the MCU, and it was a variant called Victor Timely. He Who Remains did make a short appearance in the movie, but not movie. He did make a short appearance in the show, but it wasn't really anything that was that plot heavy, besides, I guess, Loki realizing he could control time and stuff, time slipping, which was kind of cool, where he confronted him and stuff. And then, Victor Timely just got spaghettified and died. And that was basically kind of the run of Kang the Conqueror in the MCU. It was very lackluster. I feel like fans liked the idea of Kang as a villain, and quite honestly, I could see the appeal. Time-traveling, multiverse-destroying villain, but that was the first problem right there. Kang is a time-travel villain. What he delves into is all about time travel. So to try to put him in the context of the multiverse was kind of confusing, especially when you had so many other characters that could be good multiverse villains. Kang was just an odd choice. He would be okay for a time travel saga, especially since Endgame did sort of allude to them going to different points of time. So in realistic perspective, Kang was a natural next step. But I feel like the steps they took for Kang to become the next villain were very odd choices. Let's break it down. Their first introduction to Kang is a variant that we see in the Loki season finale, and quite honestly, this could have been any other character in retrospect. Anybody could have took the He Who Remains title. It didn't really need to be a Kang variant. I mean, I get it, he's supposed to hype up the Kang Wars and all his different variants and stuff. But if you just retweak Loki a little bit, you didn't really need to add all of that, because at the end of the day, none of that actually mattered to the plot of Loki Season 1 or even Loki Season 2. I mean, yeah, they had to find the origin of He Who Remains, but again, as I said, this didn't even need to be a Kang variant, but, that's not particularly helpful. I mean, they could have just adapted He Who Remains properly, I guess. It didn't really need to have him have any connections to Kang the Conqueror, to be quite honest with you. The second mistake they did was putting Kang in an Ant-Man movie. Kang and Ant-Man don't have much history, so it was an odd choice to begin with. I think, obviously, what would have really excelled Kang is if he was just a villain of the Fantastic Four, which he is in the comics anyways, and he has a lot of connections to the Fantastic Four, so there already you had a lot more story with Kang the Conqueror if you just paired him up to be the villain of the Fantastic Four movie. And quite honestly, the Fantastic Four should have kicked off Phase 5, and you could have had Kang still be the villain, but this time, you didn't really need to nerf him. One of the problems with Quantumania is that they had him stuck in the quantum realm for the most of the movie, so we never really got to see Kang in his full glory. Instead, we got to see a nerfed version of him stuck in the quantum realm and then losing to Ant-Man, who by the end of the movie made it a whole joke. But I guess the whole Kang experience was really a joke in the MCU, as the only thing that would be remembered is Scott Lang not thinking much about Kang and eating a terrible ice cream cake. And it seems like the MCU is never going to acknowledge this plot point ever again. Well, I mean, they sort of wrapped it up in Loki Season 2 with some type of throwaway line from Owen Wilson's character saying that, this Kang variant made a ruckus in the MCU, but, we're dealing with all the other Kang variants. It was sort of kind of felt like a way for them to say, yeah, we're kind of done with the Kang character. And now that we know they are, it just feels like Kang was just meandering in the MCU. I mean, look, He Who Remains was not a bad idea, slowly tease him, but I feel like Quantumania really let down on the execution, from nerfing Kang to really just having him be all talk and us not really getting to see, like, oh, he killed a bunch of Quantumania civilians. Why did I say Quantumania? He killed a bunch of Quantum Realm civilians. I'm sorry for the background. Hold up. I don't know what's going on. But the point is that, oh yeah, he killed a bunch of Quantum Realm civilians. Oh, look how threatening he is. He lost two ants, but they were, very civilized ants and whatever. I mean, whatever excuse you want to give, I just don't think Marvel did a good presentation of Kang in his first actual outing in a movie. And so it just kind of left audiences with a bad taste in their mouth, because they couldn't take Kang that seriously. And quite honestly, I feel like even Marvel knew they kind of fucked up with his introduction, as to why they're bringing back RDJ to play Doctor Doom, because they kind of just were like, well, I mean, Kang is just, it's just a sinking ship at this point. Just storyline wise, they shit the bed with Kang, and it makes sense that they're moving away from him. But honestly, their response to, I mean, it's weird. It's a very odd situation that has happened. It's just seemed like the character had some promise, had some potential, and now they're not continuing it, which quite honestly, I'm okay with. I didn't really like Kang to begin with, and I feel like his run in the MCU was lackluster, as I said. And quite honestly, I feel like any other villain could have took it. I was literally okay with Doctor Doom. My only problem is the casting, but sorry for the background noise. I don't know why. I don't know why New York is deciding to be super ignorant today. But anyways, the point is that Kang the Conqueror just couldn't click with general audiences. And I feel like a lot of that reason is that we just didn't see him in action, and we didn't see him pairing up against a group of heroes that matches him a little bit more. I also think they should have let Kang win at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania instead of making him fucking lose, but, you know, that's neither here or there. At the end of the day, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania put Marvel on a path where now they are having to just pivot and continuously pivot and continuously pivot just because their original plan didn't work. And it didn't work, and the only reason they picked Kang is because back in 2020, they really liked Jonathan Majors' I believe, audition to play the character. That's the only reason why they made Kang the main villain. I mean, you could go back to some articles. They made it very clear the main reason they got him was because they really thought Jonathan Majors was an amazing actor, so much so they feel like he could have carried the entire multiverse saga. And maybe in some other reality, he could have. But we're not living in that reality, and they shit the bed, and it's all on the writing for Kang. The writing for Kang wasn't good. It's funny to me, Marvel feels like the only way to get fans excited is to bring RDJ back as Doctor Doom. Even if you bring RDJ back as Doctor Doom, if the writing sucks in that movie, the change would have been for nothing. I don't think the problem was the casting. I don't even think the problem was the character. I think the problem really comes down to Marvel's writing and how they handled each aspect of the multiverse saga with their different writers handling it not in a good way. They also kept getting writers that weren't fans of the material, and well, surprise, surprise, you get stuff that isn't good that pisses off the fan base. At the end of the day, RDJ has Doctor Doom is already a reality, so all we could really hope for is just that the movie is good. Or if this casting decision really pisses you off, just don't watch the next Avengers movie. But, I mean, come on, guys. Even the quote-unquote haters aren't gonna go see this opening day. So all we can at least hope for is that this is good and that the multiverse saga could finally be fucking over. But what are your guys' thoughts? Are you happy Marvel's moving on from Kang? Are you not happy Marvel's moving on from Kang? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.